You know what? Just ignore him. Nick, go ahead. Come on.
I think that's okay. All right. Hello, everybody. So not a veteran. So to be honest, I didn't really know what I was going to say when I sat down to write my speech. I have it on my phone here. I did not serve in the military, but I wanted to talk to you about my father, Colonel Mark Duggar. He was about as much of a true Army man that you could ever be. He first enlisted on December 17th, 1975 and served for over 35 years. If I were to list off every single accomplishment, award, or assignment in his career, we would be here all day. He was in fact more highly decorated and accomplished than the vast majority of generals, and trust me, we will come back to the generals, which is really the point of this speech. But first, let me outline for you his career at a high level to illustrate what a real patriotic Army man looks like versus the rot displayed in today's military generals. It's going to be a lot of information blasted at you in a short amount of time, but I promise there is a point to it at the end. My father started his career assigned to the 7th Special Forces Group, where he served in South America. Other early career assignments include being a member of the 581st Signal Company, a member of the 13th Psychological Operations Battalion, mortar and scout platoon leader in a combat support company, a helicopter pilot for the 523rd Army Security Agency Company, a helicopter pilot for the 205th Infantry Brigade, and the aviation section commander for the 385th Engineer Group, and that's just to name a few. He then transferred to the Minnesota Army National Guard, which is what we're here to talk about today. While serving in the National Guard, he was an assistant S2, then an airspace management officer of the Aviation Brigade, 47th Infantry Division. He then served as the company commander of the Aviation Brigade, 34th Infantry Division, better known as the Red Bull Division. He had many assignments in the 34th, and some of his better known accomplishments were to serve as the executive officer of the Combat Aviation Brigade and then as the commander of the Aviation Brigade. I could go on and on about the rest of his career, but to keep the list short, he served as headquarter commandant in Sarajevo, the deputy commander of numerous task forces, the NATO liaison to the International Criminal Tribunal for former Yugoslavia, the chief of staff for a combined task force named Firkin Archer, the assistant chief of staff of special operations at the NATO headquarters in Sarajevo, and was then attached to the U.S. State Department, where he served as the chief of staff and U.S. security coordinator between Israel and Palestine. He then served as the SOJ-2 Intelligence Division Chief of Special Operations Command in Korea, and eventually ended up in Afghanistan serving as the human terrain team leader stationed at Kabul. Lastly, and I'll spare you the details, but he earned over 30 decorations, badges, and awards. Now, why do I even mention any of this? Because I want to show you what it looks like to be a real so-called Army man without compromising on your sense of duty to the Constitution. Some of you may know this already, but in order to be promoted from a colonel to a general, one must go to what's called War College. Now, my father, after all of his years of service and being more accomplished and highly decorated than most generals, was denied entrance into War College. Now, why would they do that? Because he refused to participate in the politics at the top ranks of the Army. He made sure to always look after his troops first, instead of the officers, and he was punished for it. Why does this matter? Because it illustrates for you the type of person who is wearing the rank of general, the type of person who was allowed into War College. They are politicians dressed in a costume, many of whom have never seen combat. It may as well be stolen valor, as their actions do not represent the real rank and file of the military. We just had, this year, the Adjutant General of Montana stand up in a committee hearing and blatantly lie to the elected officials of his state and make false claims that certain people who are known to support Defend the Guard legislation, according to him, do not actually support it. He was caught in this lie and has never apologized for his blatant act of perjury. Additionally, generals have also taken it upon themselves to bribe their state legislators to look the other way. In one case, offering free helicopter rides to those who would oppose such legislation. These generals and others like them are explicitly incentivized to continue the cycle of endless wars, carelessly throwing our young men and women into the meat grinder for their masters. They don't care one bit about what's in the Constitution or the will of the people. All they care about is coming up with new and creative ways to kill people, and oftentimes the bodies of American men and women lie in their wake. And I ask you, for what purpose? So that they and their buddies in the military-industrial complex can afford that fancy new convertible or that brand new yacht? Because it sure as hell isn't to protect American freedoms anymore. These generals who are going around and intimidating their legislators are nothing short of rotten. They are politicking against the U.S. Constitution and, more importantly, against the will of the people. Any general who testifies against such legislation is essentially telling on themselves. They are telling the American people that they can be bought and that their price is blood. Here's the point. These generals and the legislators who are either incapable or unwilling to see through their lies are in violation of the U.S. Constitution. Unfortunately, the generals cannot be primaried, but the legislators can be. If you fail to uphold the Constitution and do the right thing, then you are no longer fit to serve the people of Minnesota, and we will make sure that everybody knows it. It is their choice, but actions have consequences as long as there are people willing to hold them accountable. So let's hold them accountable once and for all. Thank you.